Hello friends, in this video I'm going to respond to the comments that the late and great theoretical physicist Steven Weinberg once made on God and religion. So let's see what he has to say.
I do spend probably a little bit more time than I should on religion, and I have a certain amount of hostility to it. I think the most rational reason for it is because of the harm that I see it does. We were talking about that earlier. Many people do simply awful things out of sincere religious belief.
Yeah, the biggest problem with religion is that when it becomes dogmatic, it has people blindly accept and follow the dogma that religion offers. And when somebody does that, then obviously there are high chances that they might harm themselves and other people. When we don't question the information that we are given and we accept it and we are told these are the rules, these are the 10 commandments, and you have to follow them or else something bad is going to happen to you, then you can see how this can have consequences that can be very severe on one's psyche and on the world that that person is living in.
Not using religion as a cover, the way Saddam Hussein may have done, but really because they believe that this is what God wants them to do. Going all the way back to Abraham being willing to sacrifice Isaac.
Yeah, we find a lot of similar stories in the Bible and other religious scriptures that are, in my view, quite disturbing, perverted, sickening. Of course, not all of them are like that, and how you understand such stories depends on how you interpret them. If you see them metaphorically, some are great myths that depict and shed light on hidden truths. But when we take them literally, we can see how sickening many of them can be. And sadly, many dogmatic religious people do take them literally. But even if we would see all of the stories metaphorically, a lot of them, I believe, are very perverted. And I don't understand how anyone can find value in them.
Because God told him to do that. Putting God ahead of humanity is a terrible thing.
Yeah, that's another thing. People don't think what is good for humanity. How can we live at peace with each other and in alignment with Earth? They don't think that. They're like, what are the commandments? What did God say? What are the rules that we should follow? And they begin worshipping that father figure, and they neglect to take care of their actual needs. But they believe that by serving that master, they're serving themselves.
Another reason is because I'm offended by the kind of smarmy religiosity that's all around us. Perhaps more in America than in Europe, and not really that harmful, because not really that intense or even that serious. But just, after a while you get tired of hearing clergymen giving the invocation at various public celebrations, and you feel, haven't we outgrown all this? Do we have to listen to this? But then, maybe at the very bottom of it, I really don't like God. It's silly to say I don't like God because I don't believe in God, but...
Yeah, if you see God as that father figure who is floating somewhere above the clouds somewhere in outer space, and he is constantly observing you and ready to judge you if he finds out that you have committed a sin, that you have not followed his orders. And then he does not hesitate to punish you, perhaps by sending you to everlasting hell, as some traditions believe. Then what is there to like about this kind of God? But of course, not all gods are the same. I like, for example, the description of God that Albert Einstein gave, who said that God is the mystery and the wonder and the beauty of the world. If we see God like that, if we see God as nature, then what is there to be disliked about God?
The God of traditional Judaism and Christianity and Islam seems to me a terrible character. He's a God who's obsessed with the degree to which people worship him and anxious to punish with the most awful torments those who don't worship him in the right way. Now, I realize that many people don't believe in that anymore, who call themselves Muslims or Jews or Christians, but that is the traditional God.
Yeah, this God is a very jealous and angry God, a sadistic God even, a sociopathic God, a narcissistic God. He wants all attention to be directed toward him. And if you don't give it to him, if you follow another God, if you do something other than what he said, then you're essentially. So again, what is there to be liked about this God? So I can totally relate with what Steven is saying here.
I have a friend, or had a friend, now dead, Abdus Salam, a very devout Muslim who was trying to bring science into the universities in the Gulf states. And he told me that he had a terrible time because although they were very receptive to technology, they felt that science would be a corrosive to religious belief. And they were worried about it. And damn it, I think they were right. It is corrosive of religious belief. And it's a good thing too.
Yeah, which makes total sense, doesn't it? True science asks questions, and dogmatic religion gives you the answers. So, dogmatic religious people don't want the answers that they have to be brought into question, because they believe that they are absolutely true. But science is questioning everything. This is the role of science. And if you start questioning the dogma of your religion and you find that some part of it is untrue, then you start thinking that maybe other parts are not true. And this is so threatening to religion, because no dogma can stand against sincere questioning. Dogmas collapse when you question them, when you study them, when you scrutinize them, when you don't take anything on faith, when you use your critical thinking and you try to find the truth. And on the other hand, I don't like scientists who totally dismiss religion, because to me, the esoteric part of religion contains some kernels of wisdom and some very important principles and practices that are, in a sense, scientific too. They are practices that can help you to get to know yourself better. Meditation is a great example. It helps you to dive deep within your psyche and get to know parts of yourself that were hidden. So scientists who totally dismiss religion are, to me, also not quite scientific. We should see the scriptures and the traditions of religion as information that we can study and evaluate and keep those positive parts that it contains to help us improve our well-being individually and collectively, and discard all the bullshit that is harming ourselves and the world.